Hey guys, how we doing today? This is Wally again with LearningNet.com. And if you guys are watching this video, it means that you want to know what's the most popular site online to get domain names itself. So in today's video, I wanted to really point out four of many domain name registrars that not only sell domain names, but also offer web hosting if you're wanting to either combine the two or if you just want to keep it separate and get your domain name at one place and then your web hosting at another. What I wanted to go over in this video are a few things that you should consider with any domain name registrar online. Not only the cost up front to buy the domain name itself, but what does it cost when you renew it? If you're going to combine like your web hosting with it, you also want to consider the customer support. How good is the customer support in the event you have issues, with your website going forward? How good is like uptime performance, the overall performance and availability of your site, online? Things like security are very important. I think these things are just things that you need to consider when purchasing not only the domain name, but the web hosting at your domain name registrar itself. So if you guys are new here to this channel for LearningNet.com, hit the subscribe button, guys, right below, along with the bell. And that way, any future videos that I upload, you'll be sure to receive them. Also, smash that like button to show your love on this YouTube channel. It also helps out a lot with the algorithm for YouTube. That way, other amazing people just like yourselves will be able to find this video in search. So, as I mentioned before, I wanted to talk about the absolute best place online to find domain names itself. So the first one that I wanted to talk with you guys about is Godaddy. You can't go too many places online and not hear something about Godaddy. They do a lot of commercials. They've even been like in Super Bowls. They've had different companies like promote them, such as NASCAR and the like. But there are not too many places online you can't go and find something about GoDaddy. They're actually the number one globally in the way of like sales for domain names itself. I don't say that they're the best company out there. They're just the number one. So when you think about buying domain names itself, as I mentioned before, there are really two things that you want to consider. And I purchased like over 30 domain names. So these are the things that I think that you should think about before actually, setting up like a site, with your domain name, with a provider or your web hosting, what have you. You want to think about first, okay, you might have a deal going on right now, like you guys can see on this page. I'm gonna just move this over here. You'll see right now GoDaddy has a deal for a penny for your very first year. And that sounds really appealing, right? I'm going to plug in this domain name link to my website.com. And I'm just going to use this for the example, just to illustrate again, what does GoDaddy charge for domain names right now versus the other three providers that I wanted to share with you guys today. So right now on certain domain name extensions, and particularly like the .coms, they do have a deal where you can get it for a penny for the very first year, but when it renews, you'll see that it will be $19.99. So it's kind of marked out right there, but it's not going to be a penny every year going forward. Obviously, GoDaddy wouldn't be making any money by doing this, but it's going to be $19.99 going, like the second year. So you want to think about that. You don't want to be surprised about that. Some people are surprised when they all of a sudden get charged. Like, oh, I paid a penny for it the first year, but all of a sudden I get this charge for, $20. Why am I being charged? So they have it right here, but you have to get 2 years or lock in for 2 years to get the penny deal, if that makes sense. Something that you want to know about GoDaddy is that they charge for like email and also having like domain privacy protection itself. You can see right here, they charge $2.50 per month for the year itself. So $2.50 per month, and that's tacked on to your domain name itself. I do think that having domain privacy protection is an absolute must with any domain name that you purchase online. One, because it protects your information online, and it avoids you from getting like tons and tons of phone calls and unsolicited like emails from people trying to sell you SEO products or like web design and stuff like this. And they're probably from out of the country, may not speak English as well. And most of the times I've noticed that there's no contact information at all in the actual email itself. And so some people are just trying to get information from you and, probably trying to like steal your identity, and they'll search, online on the Who Is directory where this information is readily available if you don't have this protection like in place. and they'll try to like, steal your information itself. And so I do think that it's a great feature to have, but they're providers that actually give it to you for free. And so I wanted to tell you about the second domain name registrar, which is Namecheap. They're not the number one globally, but they're number two following GoDaddy itself. And one thing that I really love about Namecheap across the board is that they have really, really cheap domain names across the board. You'll notice that, I mean, they do have some deals going on where you can get .coms for only 98 cents, which is amazing. But right now, I wanted to check this same domain name just to show you guys what Namecheap charges for this, okay? And again, we're going to look at two things. One, what does it cost right now versus the actual renewal itself? And Namecheap, again, gives you domain name privacy free. Automatically, you get it, with any domain name, whether you get a .com, a .net, a .org, it really doesn't matter. With Namecheap, it comes automatically free with your account itself. So you'll see with this domain name itself, link to my website.com. I'm not going to purchase this. If you guys want to buy it, you can, but just wanted to use it for this example. You'll see that right now, this particular domain name is only $8.98 for your very first year. When it renews, it's going to renew at $13.98 going, forward itself. So I think that, if you're looking at the $13.98 versus the, $19.99, you're saving a few bucks, obviously with that. But you think about going forward, every year going forward, obviously if you're creating a website, you want it to be online for the long haul, right? And so you figure, with Namecheap going forward beyond your second year, you're going to be saving, a few bucks, obviously, on your domain name itself. If you look at another provider such as register.com, plug in the same domain name itself, and we're going to hit the search bar right here. Just bring this down here, search, and we're going to search for this same domain name itself just to see what register.com charges for. Now, register.com is a very popular domain name registrar. They not only provide domain names, but you can also buy web hosting from them. The web hosting is okay in the way of resources. It's not enough in comparison to like what GoDaddy or Namecheap offers, but it is fairly cheap for the web hosting. But the domain names itself, you'll notice, guys, that you can grab like the .com, the .net, .org if you want to add those, there, and you'll see these options. They always encourage you to buy additional extensions of the same, brand name that you want to reserve online. If you guys click on the continue button right now, the very next page is going to prompt you to either like sign in with your account if you have one, or if you don't, you can just proceed, as a guest. Okay. And so when you proceed as a guest, you'll see this pop up where basically they want you to add domain privacy to it, right? And so with GoDaddy, they charge for it month by month. Namecheap, they give it to you for free. With register.com, you get it free for the very first month, but the second month going forward, you have to pay for it. So, I mean, there are huge benefits, with it. As I mentioned before, I absolutely recommend that, you do get it, that you have this feature rather with your domain name. You don't have to get it at register.com. You can get it for free at Namecheap, as I mentioned before. So what you can do right here, we're just going to say, no thanks, we don't want it. I just want to show you guys what it costs for an actual domain name with register.com. So if you scroll down, you'll see that with register.com, they charge $25 per year. So that's more than Namecheap, and is also more than GoDaddy itself. And again, register.com is a super popular domain name registrar globally, right? They're not number one, they're not number two, but they're very, very popular. But again, they're very expensive as well, right? $25 per month. That's just a domain name. That's not web hosting or anything else. If you look right here, you can get the domain and the hosting itself for $12.50 per month. So that's over, 12 months. So that's what you'll be paying, for that $12.50 each month, which I think, in my mind, comparing like other domain name registrars and their web hosting, I think it's expensive, for beginners, getting online, you can get cheaper deals for the same thing, right? You can see if you get like the domain, the hosting itself with some added, features, with that, with you got malware removal. I think that every web hosting provider should provide that. but some providers actually include it with it. If you go over to Domain.com, which is another very, very popular site online to get domain names itself, we'll plug in the same domain name just to see what they offer in the way of sales. So you guys will notice here that on Domain.com, this same domain name itself, it's $9.99, but they want you to buy 2 years up front. Of course, you can change that. The 2 years price is $20.98. They don't have free domain privacy itself. Again, I do think it's a feature that every person should have on their websites. Each year it's $8.99 per year. It's not super expensive, but again, you can get it for free at Namecheap if you so desire. So if we were to remove this off of there, of course, there's an upsell. Well, they want you to get it. But if you drop down, you'll see that it drops down to $9.99 per year. So it's a very cheap price for a domain name itself. If you wanted to buy your domain name itself here at Domaincom, it's a good place to do it. Again, with registrars.com, we saw that it was $25 per year. With Namecheap, it was $8.98. So you're talking like $1 difference on the front end itself. Brand it like today. And GoDaddy, of course, has a penny deal. If you get 2 years up front, if you're not locking into that 2 years, then you're obviously going to have to pay, more for your domain name itself. If you look at other examples of this, I mean, we have like the .com right here, but they have the .net and it's $14.99 itself. You'll see other variations like of this. You got the .org of the same thing linked to my website on GoDaddy, and it's $9.99. So the .org with GoDaddy is $9.99, but with Domain.com, it's $9.99 for the .com. I always recommend that for your brand online, get the .com, because most people, when they think about a product or service that they're looking for online, they don't really think about like the .net or .org or something like that. Most people just type in keywords and they're always thinking about like a brand name and a .com, right? And so stick with a .com. I think that you will be better off, with that. But again, you can see from these 4 providers and the pricing that they have for each of these domain names, the .coms itself, guys. And so what I wanted to do in this video review is to share with you guys my personal findings, with it. Initially, I did buy domain names at GoDaddy, but I stopped buying them there. And now I just get them strictly at Namecheap, and I get it there because the prices are consistent and they give you free domain name privacy for free. What do you guys think? Give me your thoughts right below. Who do you prefer to buy domain names from? Do you buy your domain names together with your web hosting? If so, let me know why. I want to hear your feedback right below, guys. And if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and also smash that like button. That way other amazing people just like yourselves will be able to find this same video on YouTube. Have an amazing day. Take care.